Hello and welcome back to day 8 of distance learning for our continued education, if you will. Mr. Grinnard in talking with you about the coordinate plane. We've been doing transformations this week and we're going to wrap it up with a study island. We'll get to that in a second. Before we get there, let's do a little recap of what's been talked about over the last week and a half. Ish. Coordinate plane refers to the plane of existence in math where it's just a wide open space of all kinds of things, right? We want to be able to locate things on that space because really it's just kind of chaotic if there's nothing there to tell us where to find stuff. And that's where we come up with the Cartesian grid or the coordinate grid, whatever you want to call it. And it comes down to putting two axes, or a x-axis and a y-axis together on this plane to be able to orient where we are and find things that way. When that occurs, it splits into 4 sections. These 4 sections obviously get named by quadrant. You got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Roman numerals. Still Roman numerals, even though I don't think they teach it to you guys really as much as they used to, but Roman numerals. I just told you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you know how to count to 4 in Roman numeral. Now, another important thing about this that I have brought up in class over this last week and a half of talking about the coordinate system is the importance of understanding that there are little cheats, if you will, when it comes to understanding how to find points or know where the points are on the quadrants. And it refers to the powers or the signs of each coordinate. So in quadrant 1, everything's going to have a positive x and a positive y because that's just what that is. If we move to the next quadrant, quadrant 2 ends up giving us what happens? It goes negative on the x. But our y continues to be positive. So we know that. We drop down to quadrant 3, and what happens there? Well, obviously we are now in a negative zone. I always laugh when I say that because I go to my comic world. But I'll save you that issue. And then in quadrant 4, we end up with a positive x and a negative y. Okay, so when you realize that these are basic keys to tell you what quadrants it in, it usually opens up your eyes a little more onto understanding how to navigate where your points are when those type of questions come up. Okay, now, as I said, we are looking at Study Island today. Let's see if it'll come up for me. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I fell asleep. How dare you. So, Study Island transformations, I can promise you this, not near as hard as you're going to want to make it. If that makes any sense to you. So we've dealt with 3 types of transformation. Translation, reflection, rotation. Slide, flip, turn. Go back to the other videos if you need to remind yourself what I'm talking about there. But when it comes to the way they're looking at it with Study Island, it's really basic. It's really visual. It's all about the images. Literally, images. Oh, now you're not going to work. Images. 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 It's all about images and looking about what happened to them. Pay attention to the orientation of those images and you'll be able to do this no problem. This has been traditionally one of the fastest Study Island lessons that people fly through, and I do mean fly. So hopefully you'll be able to get it done and get your exact path done and have a pretty light math day for you. You're welcome. At any rate, I really don't have any, I don't need to go through the examples here because like I said, it's just looking at the image. For example, what question 2 says, which of the pictures below show a translation of the figure about a point? The slide. Okay, so we look at the shapes here. It's an arrow. Pretty obvious. Is the arrow pointing in the same direction? If it is, I bet you that's a translation. Orientation. Like I told you, that's very important to remember. Slide. And that's the type of problems you're going to be dealing with. I don't know why Study Island goes super complex for you guys on some of their sections, and then it goes to this. Enjoy. Have a great weekend. We'll be back next week to continue our second full week of continued education. And, well, it's all about more coordinate planes, so be ready for that. I have nothing else to say. Get your work done, get it turned in. Don't end up with pointless zeros on this work. It's not that difficult. If you have questions, keep emailing me. I'm doing individual videos on stuff right now, today, for some people that have requested it. If you need that help, let me know. I'll do my best to get it for you. That's why I'm here, is to make sure you are getting this stuff. Okay.